There's a lot of changes happening in society, in our community. Do you want to be a part of it? Or do you want to just stand at the sidelines and let everybody else move mountains, change the world? As long as you're acting out of your heart and you're coming from a place of love, that's what matters. Remember, an open heart is a courageous heart. And Mars is the planet of courage, and it's in the sign that represents the heart. So you are being given the courage to open your heart, to share your love, to shine your light. To really let people know what you're about in the most positive way. Really think about, you taking action in the community. Bold action in the community is going to attract people to you in a positive way. Because they're going to feel your love. And they're going to want to connect to that love frequency. That is what this Mars in Leo opposite Pluto and Aquarius can really be about. About boldly expressing or acting out of love within the group, within the community, within society. So what bold action of love do you want to take this week in order to invigorate and inspire those around you? Welcome to the Weekly Transit, your guide to understanding the current planetary and astral alignments. Together, we'll explore how to harness these cosmic frequencies, empowering you to reach your highest potential as you navigate the days ahead. I'm your host, Scott Tajarian. Welcome to the Weekly Transit. This is the week of April 21st to the 27th, where we will be covering 7 transits. Another busy week. It seems like every week, these last few weeks, there's been at least 7, 8, 9 transits. A lot is happening right now. Are you feeling the intensity? Are you loving the intensity? Is the intensity driving you mad? How are you feeling about these planetary frequencies? Of course, if you would like help, guidance to navigate these planetary frequencies, to understand these planetary alignments and how they are affecting you, and how to work with these energies to your benefit, contact me for a reading at theweeklytransit.com. I am here to support you, to guide you, to help you understand who you are so you can accept, appreciate, and love the divine, unique miracle that is you. And if you're enjoying the content here, like and subscribe, write a favorable review. All of it helps in generating more listeners to the Weekly Transit, all of which I appreciate very deeply. That's why I'm here doing this, is because I love sharing the knowledge of the planets and stars, and I really hope that what we're sharing here on the Weekly Transit is supporting you and encouraging you and empowering you through life each and every week. 7 transits this week, highlighted by the new moon in Taurus. Earlier this week, or last week, I released an episode with Amber Herzog-Lyman. Did you enjoy the interview with Amber? Amber, if you're listening to this podcast, you're listening to Amber's music, because it's Amber's music that is playing on this podcast, the intro, the outro. And it was so much fun interviewing Amber. She is an old friend. I've known her since we were children. And she has been an incredible support to me and my development as an astrologer. She was one of my first cheerleaders, one of the first people to actually pay me for a reading. So she has just always been there in my corner, and it just felt so great to be able to share the knowledge with her and to receive her wisdom, because she has so much wisdom to share, not just in terms of music and poetry, but also the understanding of the whales, these incredible sentient beings, the dolphins that live in the ocean, and all the wisdom that they carry, the wisdom of the planet. I also had a great conversation with Delisa Hawking last Tuesday. The same day that I released my episode with Amber, I went live on YouTube with Delisa, the fifth generation psychic. The amazing Delisa Hawking is always so gracious to bring me on to her live YouTube conversations where we cover all the chaos that's going on in the world and what that means astrologically and how to work with the energy to support you. We're here to lift up the collective, and Delisa has been such a great partner for me in sharing this wisdom and knowledge, and she has so much wisdom and knowledge to share as well. So if you missed that episode, if you weren't able to join us live, the link is in last week's episode show notes. It will be in this week's episode show notes as well. And this week, I'm going to be interviewing Tiffany Gaines, an incredible astrologer, an amazing stylist, somebody who has merged fashion and astrology and aesthetics and astrology. She's a Libra, so she's all about beauty and balance and peace and harmony, and is a brilliant astrologer. And she's a Pisces moon like me, and is very open, very vulnerable about sharing her story and the journey that she's been on to become an astrologer. Just her journey through life, an incredible, inspiring journey. I'm so grateful for all the individuals who have come on to this episode, to this podcast, and to share their stories. They've been very vulnerable and very open in, sharing the ups and downs. It's like when we live in this Instagram filled society where it's like everybody's living their best life, it feels, very grounding and empowering to hear these amazing individuals that have come on the weekly transit, how they have gone through so much, some really hard times. It's human. That's part of the human experience is really falling on your face a whole bunch of times before you can even learn how to walk. And even when you learn how to walk, you still fall on your face sometimes. And so when people come on the weekly transit and they open up and they share their dark moments, their difficult moments, I feel just very grateful, because I think it's empowering for all the listeners to really know that if you're going through something difficult, if you're having a hard time in life, you're not alone. You're not the first person to experience hardship or bad luck or something happening where it's like, why is this happening to me again? Or maybe it's self-inflicted. Maybe you're somebody who's dealt with addiction, drugs, alcohol, or any other form of addiction. There's a way out. And the people that have come on this podcast many have been very open about their experiences and how they've made it to the other side. And so I really hope that what we're sharing here is inspiring to you and empowering for you on your own journey. All right, now let's dive into the week, right into it. 7 transits highlighted by the new moon in Taurus. The first transit of the week is really a transit that is coupled with 2 other transits that are occurring this week. They're all kind of happening concurrently, but we're going to break it all down individually and build it all up to really help you understand and hopefully get a grasp of what's going on astrologically and how to work with these planetary frequencies to your benefit. So we begin with Saturn conjunct the North Node in Pisces. This is a frequency that we have been experiencing since early April. It forms a conjunction on Monday, April 21st, but this conjunction has been occurring since from April 7th to the 5th. So Saturn is the planet of restriction, limitation, hard work, achievement, authority, the god of wealth and time. It's transiting through Pisces, the mutable water sign symbolized by the fish. And it's forming a conjunction with the North Node, which is the karmic pathway of the soul or soul's purpose. So both of these are aligning together at 26 degrees in Pisces. Do you have any planets in Pisces at 26 degrees? 24, 25, 26, 27, 28? Do you have any planets in Scorpio or Cancer, the other two water signs, or the three earth signs, which are Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo? What about the other mutable signs? Besides Pisces and Virgo, there's Gemini and Sagittarius. If you have anything between 24 and 28 degrees in Pisces, you are feeling this frequency very directly. Saturn conjunct the North Node in Pisces. This is about looking at your soul, taking a very serious, responsible look at your soul, holding yourself accountable for what goes on within your unconscious, within your psyche. You know those moments where you just catch yourself and you're like, where did you go? You know, maybe you're driving in your car. Maybe somebody's talking to you. Maybe you're listening to the weekly transit and your mind just wonders, where does it go? Where's your mind going? What are the thoughts that are bubbling up within your psyche? Are you fantasizing about something wonderful? Are you hoping? Are you imagining that, yes, this is what I want. I believe this can happen. But on the flip side, are you beating yourself up in your mind? Are you telling yourself how dumb you are? You did that again. You're so stupid. Oh my God. I hate you. I hate you. You're just, why are you always doing that? I was having some conversations like that with myself the other day because I cut my finger, and it's something that I've done many times in my life. Well, it was only the third time, but it felt serious, you know? It was like I was bleeding a lot. I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital. I've cut off one of my fingers, my ring finger on my left hand. The tip is gone. That happened in Aries season back in 1986. Put my finger in a door. Someone shut it. I did it on accident. I thought I was reaching back for the doorknob, and someone slammed it shut, and it came right off. And it's still gone. So, then it happened again. Back in 2008, I think it was, I sliced my finger open with a knife, had to go to the hospital, get 3 stitches. And then it happened about a week ago, cut my thumb with a knife, went to the hospital, came back from the hospital because I realized I was gonna have to basically spend the night there. I wasn't sure if it was that serious. Went to the urgent care the next morning, and the doctor was like, no, you don't need stitches. You're good. I've really put a lot of pressure on my thumb. And the doctor said, she was like, yeah, this is like healing really well. So whatever you did, good job. I guess I'm like, I got some experience with this, but, you know, the thoughts that went through my head when I first cut my finger were like, you idiot. You're doing this again. But I caught myself, you know, I caught myself because I know that I'm talking to you and I'm telling you, like, be kind to yourself, be compassionate with yourself. So I was telling myself, Scott, be compassionate with yourself. You are healing. Your thumb is already healing. There is no injury here. You were already healing. And I was very calm. And thankfully, Gabriella was very supportive, very loving, very kind, very caring, very nurturing. And she supported me through that as well. She's like, don't let your mind go to those places. But where is your mind going? Where has it been going since early April, when this conjunction began to form? Because what this conjunction is doing is it's saying, let go. Let go of control. That's what I had to do. I had to let go of control. There was fear that I'd hurt myself, that this was going to cost me, a lot of money to get this stitched up. Going to the emergency room is not cheap. The urgent care is a totally different ball game. Much more affordable there. But so there was a lot of anger because of the fear. I reminded myself that anger stems from fear, and I needed to show myself compassion. I needed to be peaceful with myself, forgiving to myself. I needed to recognize that it was out of my control at this point, and I needed to give it up to a higher power, and everything worked out. So, where are you holding on tightly? Where do you feel fear? Where do you feel anger? Where is there guilt, shame, regret, blame? And what are you trying to do to steer the ship back to make it right? But maybe you can't. So you have to make peace with yourself. You have to say, you know what, you're learning this lesson again. So of course I'm looking in the books, I'm learning, okay, what do these different fingers mean? You know that every finger is represented by a planet. Every finger is represented by a planet. The thumb is Venus. The index finger is Jupiter. The middle finger is Saturn. Saturn, flipping people off. The ring finger is the Sun, and the little finger is Mercury. Somebody in one of my moon classes mentioned, she's like, isn't that interesting? Little finger, like if you ever watch Game of Thrones, like the guy who's like he owns a brothel, and he's like always scheming, he's double dealing, and everybody calls him Littlefinger. It's interesting because Littlefinger is Mercury, and Mercury's the planet of communication. It rules Gemini. Gemini is the twins, so one twin is telling this person that they're going to be on their side, and the other twin is saying, I'm going to be on the other person's side, and they're kind of have that duplicitous frequency. So very interesting. I'm sure George R.R. Martin did that purposefully. I'm sure it was not an accident that he named a character Littlefinger, who was a messenger. Mercury is guide of souls to the underworld. This guy owns a brothel, which is the underworld, and so makes sense. Littlefinger. The bottom part of the palm opposite the thumb is the moon, and then the top mound and this bottom mound by the thumb, that is Mars. So that's Mars, the mound just below the four fingers and next to the thumb. The mound opposite this thumb is the moon. The little finger is Mercury. The ring finger is the Sun. The middle finger is Saturn. The pointer finger, index finger, is Jupiter, and the thumb is Venus. So I cut myself there, and I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Digging into the books, looking at the esoteric meanings. I wonder what you think about all that. Do you think about your fingers? Do you have a story with your fingers? Think about your fingers and the planets. This is palmistry. This is why people that have had their palm read are like, oh my God, I had a palm reader and they told me the same thing as you, Scott. And I'm like, yeah, because we're all just sharing this esoteric knowledge from our own unique perspective, whether it's palmistry or numerology or astrology or human design or gematria or, the Akashic records. Should all be telling you the same thing, just from a different perspective. The second transit of the week involves the sun in Taurus, forming a square with Pluto in Aquarius. This is Monday to Thursday, with the exact square happening on Wednesday, April 23rd. The sun is the giver of light, life, and vitality. So isn't it interesting that you get married, you put your wedding ring on your ring finger, because the ring finger is the sun. And the sun represents your identity. So if you put a ring on your ring finger, your left ring finger, you are identifying as being married. Isn't that interesting? Taurus is the fixed earth sign symbolized by the bull. Pluto is the god of death, lord of the underworld, the planet of transformation. And Aquarius is the fixed air sign symbolized by the water bearer. There's tension here. Tension building in through the beginning of the week. So we've got Saturn conjunct the North Node, which is really pushing us to get deep within ourselves, to focus on what's going on in our psyche. The sun is illuminating our self-worth and values. It's illuminating what we value in the material realm. It's illuminating how we respect ourselves. Pluto is churning up the community, transforming the community. And there's tension here between what's mine and what's ours. What's mine and what's ours. What's mine is Taurus, what's ours is Aquarius. So are you feeling some tension with regards to what the community is demanding upon you and what you're willing to give? Or do you feel that the community owes you more than what you're getting from it? And it's not necessarily the community. It could be society at large. It could be a group, a club, an organization, a social network, a social cause that you're a part of. This is about reassimilating and reconfiguring our values, transforming our values so that they can assimilate with the group. And it may be difficult. It may be difficult transforming our values to assimilate with the group. There may be tension there. You may be wondering, am I going to have enough? Is the group giving me enough? Is it fair? Or maybe you need to take a deeper look at yourself and say, I should be giving more because I have more to give. Not everybody has the same amount to give, but some people might be holding on a little too tightly. Are you holding on too tightly to what you believe is yours, which you could actually give to someone else within the group that could support them? And I'm not saying to give it for nothing. This isn't charity. You should be getting something in return. There's an exchange. Aquarius is all about fairness. It's not about charity. Charity is more like Pisces. Aquarius is about making it fair. It's about making sure that everybody is giving their fair share. And that doesn't mean that everybody is giving an apple. Some people might be giving an orange or an almond or a candy bar. It could be, and those are just metaphors. I'm not meaning those specifically, but everybody has their own unique gift. And so this transit is really helping you look at yourself and say, what is my gift? What is my gift? My gift is what I need to contribute to the community. My gift is sharing the knowledge of the language of the planets and stars with you each and every week. I'm not charging you for this. It's free to listen. So I'm giving you a gift. I'm giving you 45 minutes, an hour and a half of my time, plus the time that it takes for me to edit and write the summary and put it on the, all of that. I spend probably 3-4 hours a week on the podcast for free. That's my gift. That's what I'm contributing to the community. What are you sharing with the community? What are you sharing with the group? How are you giving back? What I'm getting in return is all the support that I hear from you. Whether you're emailing me or people that are close to me that are texting me or sending me a message on Instagram or putting a comment on YouTube or Spotify, I really appreciate hearing from you. If you're writing a positive review on Apple, that's amazing too. I really appreciate everything that you give to me for what I'm giving to you. And that is what this Sun in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius is about. Now, continuing with the first transit, what leads us into the third transit is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, the planet of relationships, transiting through, not retrograde, it's transiting direct now through Pisces. It forms a conjunction with the North Node in Pisces. So Saturn is forming that conjunction with the North Node in Pisces, and Venus is forming that conjunction with the North Node in Pisces. This is also happening at 26 degrees. This is occurring from April 26th to the 27th. That's from last Thursday to this coming Saturday. So from last Thursday to next Saturday, with the exact conjunction occurring on Wednesday, April 23rd, the same day as the Sun in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius. So Saturn conjunct the North Node in Pisces is occurring from April 7th to May 5th. Venus conjunct the North Node in Pisces is April 17th to the 26th. So you see how this is happening concurrently. Now Venus has been here twice before. Venus first formed a conjunction with the North Node in Pisces at 28 degrees on February 1st. It formed that's when Venus was direct. Venus was then retrograde on April 1st and formed a conjunction with the North Node in Pisces at 27 degrees. And now here it is again on Wednesday, April 23rd with Venus direct, conjunct the North Node in Pisces at 26 degrees. So February 1st at 28 degrees, April 1st at 27 degrees, and April 23rd at 26 degrees. 3 times. What was going on back in early February that creates maybe a thread to what you're experiencing in April, specifically regarding your relationships and how much you give in your relationships? This has maybe been a time where boundaries have been difficult. Because Venus is exalted in Pisces, it's in a position of power. Because Venus is the planet of relationships, and Pisces is the sign of compassion and empathy. And in order to be in a positive relationship with somebody, you need to have some empathy, some compassion. You need to feel what they're feeling, but the flip side of the coin is you may be bending over backwards. You may be giving more than you're receiving. And so this Venus conjunct the North Node in Pisces, along with Saturn conjunct the North Node in Pisces, is urging you to take responsibility for what you're giving in your relationship and to hold those that you're in relationship accountable for what they should be giving to you. It's not a one-way street. It needs to go both ways, two ways. So Venus, the fourth transit, is Venus forming that conjunction with Saturn in Pisces. The conjunction with Venus and Saturn in Pisces, that's from April 1st to the 29th. It formed a conjunction, Venus formed a conjunction with Saturn in Pisces way back at 16 degrees on January 18th. It then formed a conjunction with Saturn in Pisces when Venus was retrograde back on April 7th. And then the exact conjunction occurs again on Thursday, April 24th. So you can see how these three cosmic heavenly bodies, well, the North Node isn't a body, it's a point out in the sky, out in space. But these cosmic energies have all been vibing with each other conjunct through April. So April has really been a month about delving into the depths of your psyche and how your relationships are affecting you. Me personally, I've been needing a lot of space from friends. Not that I don't love my friends or want to be around my friends, but I've needed space. I'm not texting people back as quickly as I have. I'm not calling people back as quickly as I maybe normally do. Because the energy is just really kind of a slog right now. You know, it's like trying to run in the water. You know, when you're running in the water, you're not moving very fast. When you're running on land, you move much faster, but you run on water, in water. If you're up to like, say up to your knees in water and you're trying to run, you're not moving very quickly. That's how life feels right now. Does it feel that way to you? Is it, it's also, Venus is still deep in its retrograde shadow. It's still unwinding. We're still unwinding from the Venus retrograde. We're still unwinding with Mercury retrograde. That's actually the next transit I'm going to talk about. But with these retrogrades still unwinding and all of this water, we're waterlogged with Venus and Saturn and the North Node all sitting on each other in Pisces. Right around 26, 27 degrees. That's why I was like, what's in your chart? In the earth signs, the water signs, the mutable signs. What's at 24 to 28 degrees? Because you might be feeling waterlogged by these frequencies because you're being called by the universe to slow down, to take your time, to reflect, to go within yourself, to really think about what's going on in your mind and how your mind is being influenced or affected by the people around you, the content you're consuming, the music you're listening to, the shows that you're watching, what you're scrolling on your phone. All of that is influencing you. So what are the thoughts in your mind right now? You're being called to slow down and to reflect and to really think about how you're thinking about yourself. Are you being compassionate with yourself? Are you being empathetic to others? Are you escaping more than maybe you should? Whether it's Netflix and chill or drugs and alcohol or whatever your form of escapism may be. Video games is another form of escapism. Instagram. Sports is escapism. Watching a bunch of athletes run around and do things, aggressive things. It's almost like projecting your sense of masculinity or competitive nature out onto them instead of like going out and doing something active yourself. What are you escaping from? What are the thoughts that haunt you? Are they thoughts about your relationship? What is the status of your self-worth? Do you feel valued by those who say they love you? Do those that you're in relationship say that they love you? And when they say it, do you feel it? Does it feel authentic to you? Are you loving yourself? These are the thoughts to ponder with Venus conjunct Saturn, conjunct the North Node in Pisces. It's a very special time, honestly, because it's helping us hopefully cool down and gain a deeper understanding of who we are and who we're connected to. Understand that everyone that you're connected to, you're reflecting. Even me. If you're listening to me right now, there's something about me that's reflecting within you. There's something about you that reflects into me. That's why you're listening. I see it all the time when people reach out to me for a reading. I look at their chart. I'm like, oh, yeah, we have this in common. It's never any coincidence why somebody's reaching out to me, because we're always reflecting each other. So who are the people that you're surrounding yourself with, and how are they reflecting you? Sometimes it might be somebody that you're like, oh, this person really annoys me. Okay, well, there's something about them that is still reflecting you. So do you have the ability to look at that part of someone else that's annoying you and look at yourself and say, am I annoying in that way? Yeah, I guess maybe sometimes I am. Maybe I do that. Maybe I do complain too much. Maybe I do share too much, or whatever it might be. Whatever that criticism is of yourself, and acknowledge it, and then love yourself for it. Forgive yourself for it. Say it's okay. When you do that, you're going to be able to look at that person and say, oh, you know what? They don't bother me so much. They bother you when you are not acknowledging that within yourself. So I mentioned Mercury just a minute ago, and Mercury is exiting its retrograde shadow this week. That happens on Saturday, April 26th. Mercury has finally unwound itself from its retrograde transit. It entered its retrograde shadow back on March 1st. It began its retrograde on March 14th. So where Mercury is right now on Saturday, April 26th is exactly where it was on March 14th. So think back to March 14th and what you've experienced in the last month and a half. What have you experienced in the last month and a half? And Mercury transited through Pisces, which was bringing your conscious awareness to your unconscious. It was making you more conscious of your unconscious, but it was also in Aries, where it is right now. It began its retrograde in Aries, and it's moving out of its retrograde shadow right now. The retrograde ended on April 7th. That was the same day that Venus was conjunct Saturn in Pisces at 25 degrees. April 7th. Mercury, that's when the retrograde ended. April 7th, it went direct at 26 degrees in Pisces, right where Venus was conjunct Saturn. So maybe around early April, you were getting some powerful awareness in terms of your relationships and how you connect with others. Now that Mercury is moving out of its retrograde shadow through Aries, it's time to really open up, to speak out, to be authentic in sharing your thoughts. It's about being real. If you think it, say it, do it. Put your words into action. Put your thoughts into words, your words into action. We need to hear from you. We need to hear your perspective. That's what this is about as Mercury continues its transit through Aries. So things are hopefully going to start to pick up right now a little bit. They'll start to generate some heat. Maybe if you feel like you've been in that slog where you've been in the mud or you're waterlogged, now you're starting to rise up out of it. and projects that you've been working on are starting to maybe come into fruition, to get some pace. This is a time to really, get things moving, get things started. Aries is the first sign. So sharing new ideas, putting it out there, that's what Aries is about. Kicking down the door. So don't hide. Speak up. Share what you need to share. Start whatever it is you need to start. What do you want to share? What do you want to start? What are those ideas that maybe you've been kind of percolating, or they've been, what's the word I'm thinking of? They've been like marinating in your mind. What are those words? What are those ideas? Share them now. Share what you need to share. Say what you need to say. Open up. Understand that in doing so, there's going to be conflicts. There's going to be some disagreements. If everyone's speaking their mind, there's going to be some challenges. But that's good, because it's going to help the discourse. We need to understand these disagreements so that we can find a solution. Understand that when you bring about the disagreement, you're closer to finding a solution. Not saying anything just allows that disagreement to fester. And especially now with Mercury out of its retrograde shadow, open up. Open up. Say what you need to say. The sixth transit of the week, Mars in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius. This is another transit, just like Venus conjunct Saturn or Venus conjunct the North Node. This is a transit that this is the third time that this has happened. Not in these two signs, but this is the third time that Mars has opposed Pluto in the less than 6 months. Mars first opposed Pluto when it was transiting through Cancer, and Pluto was at the final degree of Capricorn at 29 degrees. That was back on November 3rd last year, 2024. Mars was then retrograde in Leo and opposed Pluto in Aquarius at 1 degree. That was back on January 2nd. And then now, Saturday, April 26th, Mars in Leo opposing Pluto in Aquarius at 3 degrees. This is Monday to Tuesday, April 21st to the 29th, with the exact opposition on Saturday, April 26th. So Mars is the god of war, the planet of action, aggression, and conflict. It's the planetary ruler of Aries, the sign where Mercury is transiting through. Pluto, as we know, the god of death, Lord of the underworld, the planet of transformation. We talked about Pluto earlier with its square to the sun in Taurus. So this is sort of exacerbating that square between the sun and Pluto. It's also perhaps supporting Mercury's transit through Aries. Leo is the sign that rules the heart. It's fixed fire. It's symbolized by the lion. So Mars transiting through the sign of the lion, people are really opening up. They're charging after their goals, their ambitions. They're, really expressing themselves, really opening up. They're charging forward and saying and being bold in their self-expression. Maybe this is happening in the community. Maybe people are acting out in the community. They're being a little more grandiose in their expression, in their action. People are maybe a little more grandiose in how they are acting in the community. People are maybe acting up, acting out, speaking up, speaking out. A lot of movement happening here. A lot of tension. The god of war, Mars, opposing the god of death, Pluto. That's intense. But let's ride this tension. Let's not hide from it. It doesn't mean, you need to go out into the world and do something crazy that you regret. But it also means don't be small. Don't hide. And understand that by acting up or acting out, you're going to create a reaction from those around you. So to a degree, you might want to temper yourself, but at the same time, you also don't want to hide. It's not about being small. This is about joining the revolution. There's a lot of changes happening in society, in our community. Do you want to be a part of it? Or do you want to just stand at the sidelines and let everybody else move mountains, change the world? As long as you're acting out of your heart and you're coming from a place of love, that's what matters. Remember, an open heart is a courageous heart. And Mars is the planet of courage, and it's in the sign that represents the heart. So you are being given the courage to open your heart, to share your love, to shine your light. To really let people know what you're about in the most positive way. Really think about, you taking action in the community. Bold action in the community is going to attract people to you in a positive way. Because they're going to feel your love. And they're going to want to connect to that love frequency. That is what this Mars in Leo opposite Pluto and Aquarius can really be about. About boldly expressing or acting out of love within the group, within the community, within society. So what bold action of love do you want to take this week in order to invigorate and inspire those around you? The final transit of the week closes out with the new moon in Taurus. This is at 7 degrees and occurs at 12:32 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time on Sunday, April 27th. So when you think about this week and the transits that we've talked about, Venus conjunct Saturn conjunct the North Node in Pisces, the Sun in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius, Mercury exiting its retrograde shadow, and Mars in Leo opposing Pluto in Aquarius, it culminates at the end of the week with the new moon in Taurus. So we're delving into our unconscious. We're really getting deep within ourselves and saying, how do I value myself, and how am I valued by the people around me? Do the people around me value myself in the way that, do the people around me value me in the way that I value myself? Do they value me in the way that I want to be valued? If they don't value me in the way that I want to be valued, then maybe I need to value myself a little bit more. Mercury transiting through Aries is allowing you to be authentic in your mind. Authentic in your mind, being real with yourself, being real in your conscious awareness. And then Mars in Leo, opposing Pluto in Aquarius. And before that, the Sun in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius. They're both forcing you to look at your values and really pay attention to how you're acting in the world. Are you acting from your heart, from a place of love, or from a place of fear? But this all leads to that new moon in Taurus, which says, maybe I need to value myself more. Maybe I need to appreciate myself more. Maybe I need to surround myself with people that really value me in a way that I want to be valued. Remember, Taurus is ruled by Venus. So Taurus is about relationships. People always think about Libra as relationships because it's the scales, something on this side, something on that side. But Taurus is also relationships. Really, it's the relationship that you have with yourself and how you're valuing yourself, because how you're valuing yourself determines the people that you're attracting to you. So during this new moon in Taurus, you want to say that I'm setting my intentions to love myself. I'm setting my intentions to look around my life, in my material well-being, the money that I'm making, do I feel secure? Do I feel cared for? Do I feel loved and appreciated by those around me? If not, what can I do to elevate that? I'm setting my intentions to elevate my self-worth. I'm setting my intentions to create healthy boundaries that protect me from people that do not value me in the way that I desire to be valued. That's the bull. The bull's like, back off. Don't get close to me. Don't get on my back. Get off my back. Get off my back. That's what the bull is, bucking people off of its back. Get off of me. I didn't say you could sit here. So this new moon in Taurus is about setting your intentions to set boundaries. Setting your intentions to say that the people that really want to be close to me, that really value me, are going to respect my boundaries. They're going to recognize and appreciate my boundaries. And they're going to have clear boundaries as well for themselves and for me, so that we can feel safe and secure in each other's company. This is about trusting each other. So when we're setting these intentions to honor our self-worth, to honor our values, to create healthy boundaries that protect us from those who wish to disrespect our boundaries, or protect us from those who are not valuing us in the way that we desire to be valued, then you have the space, like a bull wants space around it. You have the space to open up your heart and to really express yourself in a way that feels authentic and meaningful to you within the community, the people around you. And from that place, you find that compassion for yourself and empathy for others. And through that, forgiveness and love for you, for them, for everyone. And I hope that's how the week plays out for you. Of course, if you're curious to learn how this new moon is affecting you directly, as well as the full moon in Scorpio, which is a couple weeks out, you can enroll in my moon cycle classes at theweeklytransit.com. I hope this information has been helpful to you. I want to thank you for your time, your energy, for everything that you give to me in being here, in listening to what we have to share. And I hope that what we shared here uplifts you and empowers you through the week ahead, where you're ending the week feeling like, I'm valued, I matter. And I can see that in my relationships, I can see that in the community, and I can see that in society at large. That I matter, I make a difference, and I have a gift that is important for me to share. Thank you for allowing me to share my gift with you. Until next week. Thank you for listening to the weekly transit. If you're curious to learn how these transits or any other transits may be affecting you, or if you're interested in learning more about your astrological code, contact me for a reading at theweeklytransit.com. This episode was produced by me, Scott Tajarian. Music written by Ben Leinbach from Listen Deep by Amber Herzog Lyman. Wishing you all the best as you ride the planetary waves.